Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen. For anybody who's tuned in before, obviously we've got something a little bit different now. I've got my second monitor finally set up so I can monitor things like Twitch chat, if anybody's got anything to say, and of course it's got a webcam as well, so I can finally start looking like I do this for a living or something. Right, so here we are. Welcome. This is the Omega Captain's Draft Invitational. We are here watching Thug Life, Dota Life up against Omega 24. Omega 24 captain, of course, is Excelsior, and that is the guy who is organising the whole tournament. So we're this is going to be quite a good matchup. It's Omega's, I think, first game of the tournament, and this should be a good one, I think. I haven't got my overlay on because it's set up for Captain's mode, not Captain's Draft. So you're just going to have to put up with my ugly face. But here we go. Obviously going through the draft very quickly. This is Captain's Draft. We don't have much time to mess around. Looks like carries have been the main message of the day in this particular draft. I gotta agree with the teams there. Supports are kind of, there aren't very many left in the pool. We got Lena, we got CM, we got Dazzle, we got Shadow Shaman, Lion. A lot of the more core ones, but not a huge variety. It's the key carries that are really going to make this. Mirana being picked up first by Omega, very wise first pick. Personally, actually one of my favourites, for the simple reason that in addition to obviously being a great hero, you get this whole global invis for your entire team. There's also the fact that you don't know whether she's going to be played in the support role or in the carry role, and that means that when you're drafting in a situation like this, it's confusing for the other team. Night Stalker is actually a fairly good kind of counter example to that, because with Night Stalker, you are always, or pretty much always, going to be dealing with him mid. So there's not as much kind of sneaky tactics, I guess, going on for TLDL. They do pick up the Shadow Shaman as well. Another hero that's getting an awful lot of play at the moment. There's an awful lot of action going on in the early game meta, basically, and Shadow Shaman's great at that, whether it's for lockdown or push, even nuke a little bit, kind of. Omega countering that with a Lion pick, making sure that they get up one of these supports. As I said, they are fairly rare. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for one team to have banned out pretty much all the supports and then picked up whatever was left, leaving their opponents with absolutely nothing conventional anyway on the support front. But neither team's done that. We've got some supports up. Mirana, as I said, could be played there. We've got a Magnus mid running up against the Night Stalker. Now, I quite like that matchup, actually. I think Magnus will obviously have the advantage during the day. That's kind of Night Stalker's game. But when it hits the 4 minutes and Night Stalker starts to try and seriously gank and try and take out either the mid hero or roam to other lanes, Magnus kind of has the charge back under his tower to keep him safe. Dazzle picked up by TLDL. I was wondering whether the Dazzle would get picked. He's probably, in my opinion, the best support in the pool at the moment if you want to be really farming up for anything like the late game. Gives so much survivability to either your carry in lane or the whole team in a team fight. The thing is, TLDL haven't actually picked up that carry yet, though. Omega picking up the Bounty Hunter now in addition to the Magnus. That's a decent off lane. It gives them some nice counters to Nyx. Not a hero I've been seeing played a huge amount of, though, so we'll have to see. And then Omega go for the Wraith King. Just making sure I got these lanes right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be a carry Wraith King rather than a carry Mirana, but I haven't actually seen too many of Excelsior's and Omega's games before now, so I could be wrong. It'll come down to what they're more comfortable carrying with, I think. TLDL now faced with trying to pick up their hard carry from this list, and they've really only got a few options. They could go for Medusa, they could go for Troll, they could go for DK. Anything else to me would be a little bit edgy. But no, I'm wrong. It seems like they're going to go for Queen of Pain, another traditional mid hero, alongside Night Stalker. So obviously they're planning on playing one of those on the safe lane carry, and good luck to them. I fully support people's right to be creative in their drafts. I hope it works for them. And I just want to quickly say, biggest news in Dota in quite a long time. We have, of course, had Alliance kicked out of TI4 literally minutes before this match started. We were actually waiting in the lobby, partly because we were waiting for someone, and also because nobody wanted to stop watching the match. But yeah, it's Alliance have actually been kicked out now, coming in one of the bottom 8 positions in the group stage, and that's a big surprise. Last year's champions already out of the international. So I'm still getting used to this 2-monitor thing. Let's get on to introducing the teams. I don't know if we... Yeah, we are. Good. Okay, so we have Excelsior up on the Magnus for Omega. Why is this not switching over to the Marana? Okay, we got Too Easy for Ereezy. That's an interesting name on the Marana. We've got Nathan on the Wraith King. On the Lion, I'm not entirely sure why it's making me do all this clicking. It's not how it's meant to work. We have Squee. On the Bounty Hunter, we have Who We Are. And over on the TLDL side, we have Chart 395 on the Shadow Shaman, Nyx Assassin. Wow, Nyx Assassin in real trouble. Let's really get out of spectator view for this. Going for some aggressive warding to start the game off. Unfortunately gets picked off by a very stun-heavy tri-lane. And the last hit being picked up by Wraith King, who has actually been buying wards though, so it looks like it'll be a carry Marana. Yeah, judging by the items they're going for to start the game, it will be a carry Marana. So, given that we've already started shedding blood, I'll just introduce the other heroes very quickly. We have Fluke on the Dazzle. On the Night Stalker, who will be taking the mid, we have Dante. And the Queen of Pain, the enigmatic Queen of Pain, we have Tyann, who will be running a safe lane Queen of Pain. Not something I've seen a lot of. My rationale for saying that is really, Queen of Pain doesn't have the skills. She's got the skills to nuke down early mid-game, great ganker. But she doesn't have any kind of passive crits or anything that you really want to see on your carry. Something which amps the damage and makes the items that you're getting more valuable. But c'est la vie. That's how it goes sometimes. I'm sure they've got a plan here. Also, I'm not too much in favour of her running up against the Bounty Hunter either. Bounty Hunter's great at getting sudden immense amounts of damage down. So, you know, Queen of Pain is great if initiated on by someone who will kind of pound away slowly at just blinking away. She can't avoid the majority of Bounty Hunter's damage like that. She might not die, but she's going to be brought low very, very early. And in addition to that, once Bounty hits track, he's going to be able to keep track of her very, very easily. And a nice gank mid by the roaming supports again, and that's Night Stalker finished off very, very handily. Excelsior is going to be benefiting hugely from that space at mid. Going for, yes, pretty traditional Magnus build mid. Probably looking to finish off his bottle next. Make sure we can keep spanning Shockwave, which is a particularly effective farming tool in the mid lane against a melee mid like Night Stalker. Meanwhile, down on bot lane, Too Easy. I'm just going to call him Too Easy because otherwise, if I try and say it, I'm going to end up talking about Too Easy for Arteezy, and that's not where I want to be. I'll just get confusing. So here we go. Solar Foods is doing a fair job, I think. What is going on with this last hits chart? There we go. Doing a fair job. 2 last hits. Marana is sitting on 9 though, so clearly not shutting her out a huge amount. Fair farm for an offlaner if he can really start to push up the level advantage and escalate this a little bit more. He has managed to secure the wards to his satisfaction, but I'm quite surprised he's chosen not to block up the lane, the pool camp here. Perhaps he did, it was dewarded, and he's going back again to do the same thing again. Of course, Nyx did give away that first blood right at the start of the game. Now looking to just soak up some experience. Being pinged out though, if they can land a nice arrow or something here, I'll slightly over-guessed there. Too Easy picking up a stun there off the Spike Carapace. Magnus has his bottle and has now picked up a haste rune. Now as soon as he hits his ult, that haste rune is going to become hugely valuable. And we're beginning to see a bit of a tale being told here in the offlane. I'm expecting that Bounty Hunter should be able to secure his presence in lane slightly better with Invis. I don't even think he needs to be quite so coy here, really. He can be right up here for as long as they're not tracking him down. There we go. He's safe. One of my favourite ward spots as well. Big shout out to Squee here. That's a great place to get kills. I've also spent entire games where I was playing in the Dire offlane, just hiding in the trees there, soaking up XP. So as to not get absolutely murdered, but still get some levels. So that was fun. That was awesome. Squee stocking up on mana. One of the reasons why Lion is such a brilliant lane support is just this ability to... He really can spam. He really can. Nothing will stop him. Too Easy. Now looking to max out the Sacred Arrow. I'm not a huge Mirana player myself, but as I understand it, that is a decent way to build it. Nyx, having trouble landing these stuns. Of course, it is a skill shot now. You can't target it directly at the enemy hero, but that was quite painful. And Magnus, as I believe I said, that that haste rune would make him dangerous. I don't think he needed to use his ult though, which is even better. And that actually means he's going to have mana for it very soon. If he popped that DD rune, took a couple of charges, and to be honest, I kind of think that's what he should be doing. They might need a rotation from one of the supports, TP top as well, but then if you've got Magnus coming behind, Bounty already here, I think they could get a decent amount of kills there. Bounty has been forced out of lane by the sentry ward. Well played there by TLDL. They are going to have to catch up a little bit, so they really need to secure this farm for the Queen of Pain. But as I said during the draft, Queen of Pain isn't someone you traditionally, secure farm for. And another pick-off down on bot lane by the Mirana. Nyx Assassin not having a very good lane here. I think he's playing decently, in all honesty. Struggling with the warding, they've been very aggressive on that. Did manage to eat a first blood, which was very unfortunate, but they're doing a fair job, doing about all he can, I think.
Dire's middle tower is
Magnus now activating double damage rune, but we do have the initiation coming around from the supports as well. There's Shackles. This will be a quick kill. Are they going to let the Night Stealer take it? Unfortunately, the DPS on Shackles not really something Shadow Shaman can control, and he gets the kill there. But you know what? It's never bad if your supports get some gold. That's some boots for Shadow Shaman. That'll make the next kill even easy. Fingers crossed, anyway. And that gets TLDL on the board. 4-1, certainly a good early game, good first 5 minutes for OG, but not decisive. Certainly not decisive. And the one thing I would possibly question about how this bot lane is going is just not enough pulling and not enough warding of pulling. So Nyx needs to be spending more effort trying to ward this, and the Radiant supports need to be doing more to actually pull it, because there's a lot of XP here going to waste. That or gank, of course. Ganking is another acceptable way of wasting your time. Magnus, yep, good call. That's a good route. If they're unlucky, they will get spotted out by this Dazzle, but they're going to go for it. Bounty onto keeping up a presence in lane, so they don't smell anything suspicious. But here we go. Magnus rolling in now. Spotted out, unfortunately, by a ward. The Queen of Pain runs straight back behind the tower. Dazzle has been spotted out. Magnus wants to go for it. His team aren't quite there with him, but they can now dive under the tower quite safely. Charged in, now under Shackle. They're going to need to get a stun down. There we go, and Queen of Pain finished off as well. Beautiful shockwave there from Magnus, just to make sure he got the kill, because he is the one who needs the gold. But we do now have an invisible Night Stalker up here, looking for any pickups he can. Now, it's nighttime. He's a dangerous guy. Hasn't got a huge amount of items yet, but if he can get to the side shop, he will actually be able to finish off his phase boots. And we've got a TP coming in from Shadow Shaman as well. So there's quite a lot of lockdown here. Lion choosing to both hide in the trees and mana drain creeps, which aggroed the catapult to him. So that's a valid thing. Night Stalker and Dazzle moving around behind the pack now as Queen of Pain comes in from the front and gets hexed. She wants to run back. Shadow Shaman throwing out an Ether Shock. Both teams here, I think, being slightly more cautious than they need to be, but yeah, better safe than sorry, I guess. It is a 4v4 engagement. Meanwhile, down on the bot lane, we can just throw out the last hits again. Yep, Mirana now leading on the last hit chance, but Nyx has caught up. He's now got half the last hits that Mirana does. So in terms of, is he able to actually feed on the lane? Yes, he is now. Certainly better than he was earlier. Dante rotating mid, just trying to force off this push, which of course does have a catapult backing it up as well, so that's a good call by him. He ran down here, which is good because his TP isn't off cooldown, but is bad because he can't TP up because he doesn't have a TP. And they are going to need support up there very, very soon. Dazzle spotting people out, but he's got to be more careful with a bounty hunter around.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Magnus seeing him off. I mean, if TLDL can sustain this for a little bit longer, they're actually pulling off an advantage. If they can save losing that tier 1 tower, then what they're basically dealing with is Dante will be getting solo XP, the Nyx will be getting solo XP against the Mirana, while 4 of the OG heroes waste their time up in this top jungle, and it really has been quite a long time. There we go, the Hex has come out from Lion, followed by a 2-person stun. That was excellently done. Charge, aiming to get them out of the tower range. There's the Oh, beautiful Magnus ult. Ether Shock finishes him off though. Bounty Hunter finished as well. Night Stalker with a nice TP. I guess he did get the courier sent out to him, and that's 2 for 1 for Omega, and that's not what they wanted at all. Mirana ult popped defensively. Nyx having TP top. Mirana can now pretty much free farm and push here on the bot lane. There we go, Nyx. Good job. If the Radiant were pulling like they should be, that would without a doubt pay off. Good ward. Meanwhile, up on top lane, quite happy with their victory. Queen of Pain is now going to be moving probably back into lane again, looking to get a little bit of farm. This is still a point in the lane when she can be farming, so she probably wants to be a little bit further ahead here, but waiting for Shadow Shaman and Co to come in, just in case Bounty Hunter is around. Going for a very stats-heavy early game build. Certainly not a bad choice, particularly when you're trying to do damage with an int hero like Queen of Pain. I'm worried that it's more a way of covering for not having a hard carry than legitimately making Queen of Pain into a hard carry. But I'm not gonna totally trash on a strat I haven't seen before yet. Lion now wants to push up on this bot tower. There's Nyx, 2-person stun. Doesn't have the damage unfortunately, and now an awful lot of stun's going to be coming out with the Wraith King. There it is. He's going to take the stun from that. Too easy. Also stunned. Should have an arrow. Oh, 9 seconds. Nathan wants this so badly. He's popping his soul ring, looking to get the mana for a Wraithfire Blast, but not entirely sure that was the best plan. Also doesn't have his ult yet, so the that was a little bit risky. If there'd been some slightly faster TPs up from probably the Shadow Shaman there, that would easily have been another kill for TLDL. And 7-4 looks a lot better than 8-3, so I think they do want to be fairly careful here. Squee picks up an Invis rune, wants to go onto the mid lane, take out this Night Stalker being heavily harassed by Magnus. Does not have his ult up yet, but not very far off. We won't be seeing it in this engagement, possibly very, very shortly after. Here he comes, running out. There's a Hex. There's a push. Almost misses the stun thanks to Magnus's charge, but cancels the animation, realigns it, and gets a very nice kill. More food for the Magnus, that's absolutely great. Bounty Hunter getting some nice farm behind the tower here. Tanking the creeps, possibly not what he needs to be doing. One moment.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
And I'm back. Push going on the bot tower again here. This time we have Too Easy backed up by Nathan, and they are probably not going to be able to get another kill on the solar food here. And he knows it. He can go for these last hits a little bit. Mirana's always got to be a little bit careful going for the ranged harass on the Nyx, just because if he does manage to get a stun off, that's just inconvenient, and it's damage that she doesn't need to take. There's a regen rune, Sat bot, which Radiant have spotted out by their wards, and it does look like Magnus is running down to get it, but unfortunately it's nighttime, and Dante's got the edge on him. Picks it up, slows Magnus down, silences him, actually wants to go for a kill here. Don't have rotations coming in from either team. Radiant bot are pushing very, very hard. Magnus tries to leave Night Stalker stranded up on the cliff, ends up actually stranding himself, but pushes Night Stalker back down into the river. Looks like he's going to be going down here though. It is a nice kill by Dante. Big respect to Magnus for what he was trying to do. Very unfortunate that it didn't quite work. Bot tower is taken down in the meantime though, so the fact that there weren't any rotations to come in and support there, I think is acceptable. They were busy with worthwhile stuff. 8-4. OG definitely, I think, have an edge here. They just need to push it ahead. Yeah, their supports and offlane are massively out farming their compatriots, I suppose you could say, on the opposing team. Their carries are doing better, their mid is doing better, especially with that other kill there. We're also beginning to get track gold off on some of these kills, which will be very, very useful for the Radiant economy. And I mean, this is the thing, they're winning the early game. They also are the ones with the most chance of arguably being said to have a hard carry, so they should win the late game as well quite handily. Grouping up now for a push on the top tier 1. They are sitting under a sentry ward. I very much doubt they care overly much. Magnus getting into position. I'm not sure they've got a very clear picture of how well this is defended, so they're being a little bit careful. We do know Shadow Shaman is there. He does have wards. A defensive pop this early though would be
Radiant's bottom tower
very,
is under
very bad
siege.
for TLDL. You know, oh, and there it is, Magnus coming out. He wants to get the charge. Unfortunately, doesn't quite make it, but he is now going to be able to just convert this into a straight up push. They've got Bounty Hunter here as well, backing them up. The only other person on the lane is Dazzle, who is hiding very, very far back. There's the track.
Radiant's
There's the
bottom
arrow.
tower is being attacked.
It really is. Okay, Hex has gone down on Mirana. Shadow Shaman dare not use Shackle. Gets a very nice ward trap off. Unfortunately, on the one person on the team who can leap out of it. Doesn't save her from Night Stalker though, who rotates up. Dazzle's in the picture now as well. So Shadow Shaman for Mirana. Again, OG are not coming off best in some of these trades. They almost are, and they're certainly leading on the kills. But some of these key ones, particularly around this top tier 1, they're over-investing. TLDL are focusing down the people they want to kill very effectively. And I mean, if anything, that's how they're going to lose the lane. It's it's tricky. Now we have Shadow Shaman heading over to mid. We did see the defensive wards pop there. As I said, it was almost an absolutely beautiful play. Now I think he's really just looking to see if he can effectively shut down this Wraith King's farm. He does have Night Stalker there. We see picking up a Haste Rune. He'll be wanting to gank with that almost immediately, and it looks like he's heading back over to the mid rune as well. Already active. Where are you going? Where are you going? Rushing into lane. They want to go for the Wraith King. It's ridiculously dangerous because he obviously has Reincarnate, so I don't think they're actually going to do it. With that in mind, Night Stalker would probably have been better using that to run back to base, gank another lane, scout something out. Either that, of course, or you get some more TPs in mid. The tower is very, very low to going down. There's certainly going to be a push coming out here from Omega, and Shadow Shaman narrowly avoids the arrow there. They're going to focus down the Wraith King, but with his ult up, there's really not a huge amount of point. It just leaves him exposed in the lane. The tower goes down, and they're going to suffer for it now. Nathan knows he has a stun as well. Oh, Bounty Hunter possibly a little bit too far as 2 more members of the TLDL squad make their way to that mid lane. Fight going on. Oh, beautiful job on the Shadow Shaman there with an arrow. Mirana, now being chased by Queen of Pain, does manage to get her ult off though, so unless they've got detection, which they really should of course have, in the form of dust or something, I don't think there's going to be another kill there. And a quick pause coming out from Wraith King for reasons which are very quickly explained by his entire team, which is a good habit to get into. Which is a very good habit to get into, and I'm going to be AFK for one more moment. And of course, in the meantime, we get the time-honored Dota tradition of drawing, what should we call it? It's either boobs or a penis, and the fact that I can't tell the difference between the two is probably the most concerning thing about it. Wraith King has resumed the game, back on track. Tyann now looking to push down this lane. But they're not really going to be able to get this push, are they? I mean, just realistically, they've got themselves to the stage where they're reacting to everything that OG are doing. OG are always setting the pace. Even when they lose, they are the ones setting the pace. And especially with a Shadow Shaman and a Night Stalker on the team, it just means that TLDL, they don't really get a better chance to win the game than early game, really. When they put wards up. Oh, Dazzle gets out of a sentry ward, beautifully timed. Obviously, it spotted who we are immediately, but of course the entire, or 3 members of the Omega squad were there, and that means very, very short work of a very, very small Dazzle. We do have Nakes sitting here right in the middle of this. I don't think Radiant were aware of that, but he's scared of using his stun. Desperately wants to make it count. Gets hit by the Lion Stun without even realizing. I don't think Radiant realized that they actually brought Nyx down to half health in that fight. They probably think he's just rotating in now, so that's a little bit unfortunate for them. I can see where the Nyx is coming from. It would have been very difficult to contribute to that fight without becoming another target. But I think probably his team were expecting to do a little bit more than that, or they would have backed out themselves. But yeah, I gotta say, I mean, both teams making some mistakes, but Omega definitely playing a more solid game here, and a more varied game as well. They can farm when they need to farm, they can push when they need to push, they can rotate, and kind of making it count. Ping's going out on the Roshan. I do not think they are ready for that. I might be totally wrong. Illusion Rune pinged out as well, in addition to Magnus and pretty much everything else on the map. I'm not sure why we're pinging all this. Nightstalker in the meantime, heading up the top lane, he's going to be looking to just get up some farm, and if all this posturing in the mid lane carries on, he might be able to take the tower. Doesn't look like it though. Magnus heading up, going to Secret Shop. Going to Secret Shop. At Secret Shop. Picks up his mana boots. Where are they going to be heading now? Magnus kind of has a choice. He's either got to be farming or he's got to be setting up big team fight kills. That's what he's best at. If he's not doing either of those things, probably should have picked a different hero. So what he's going for here is going to be a very nice displacement of the Nightstalker back up under the tower. Unfortunately, looks like Nightstalker is very well aware of what is going on. There's the track. He needs to get back under his tower immediately. Magnus unfortunately missing the opportunity really to push in the direction they want. There we go. Nice blink before he gets hit by the tower. Pushes him back in the right direction. Lots of damage coming out here. They're getting Janada crits, and Magnus again securing the kill with the skewer, which is exactly the use to which that is meant to be put, in my opinion. Other people might say last hits or contributing to fights. I say no. It's all about stealing kills. Hey, you're the mid. You're meant to do that. Leaving the illusions up here just to keep this wave pushed back. I don't think that had any particular effect on the way the game's going. Those illusions could have been doing some damage. One trick, if you're wondering how to manage creeps during a push, that I've one of my favorites anyway, is always make sure you kill the ranged enemy creep first. It does so much more damage, and is so much easier to kill. And if anybody is... Oh, nice blink charge there. Gonna easily waste the time that the Shadow Grave had almost saved for him. And this is actually beginning to look a little bit stompy. Not much, I think, is really going to be able to slow down this Omega squad, particularly since Excelsior still has not popped the ult. That Queen of Pain ult, unfortunately, completely wasted. It's a team fight ult, does a lot of damage to a lot of people very quickly. When unsupported, it really just means that they've got to back off for like 10 seconds to regen a bit. And that's not what you want with your big ult. They are moving in past a Dire sentry ward here. I'm pretty sure they are spotted out. TLDL do know that plays are being made by Omega right now. The arrow flies out, misses everyone. Magnus possibly a little bit too far forward. The stun comes out beautifully though from Lion. Finger of Death finishes off Queen of Pain. Dante now running away from the fight. He knows he's low, but unfortunately he's their main right-click damage. Shadow Shaman bravely trying to hold up some of the chase. Sacrifices his life in the meantime. Shallow Grave on Dante. Effectively wasted as he runs back and forth. I think there needed to be a little bit more direction there from the TLDL squad. Without that direction, they were really just unsure whether or not to commit to the fight or not, and you could see it in the behavior of all of their heroes individually. Shadow Shaman desperately trying to save his team, but he would not have initiated that shackle if he'd known the rest of his team were just going to immediately back up to the tier 2, because that doesn't save them. Tricky business. At the same time, we have Squee desperately going after the Nyx Assassin, and a very nice pick-off. Tyne also wanting something, but not going to get it, unfortunately. We are dealing with a Lion and a Bounty Hunter. That's quite a dangerous combo. Omega going to back off that tier 2 top. Doesn't look like they hugely want to make sure that they push that in any further. Now they're kind of getting to the stage where they might be able to consider Roche. Let's have a look at the items that the teams have picked up so far. Yep. Well, I mean, Bounty Hunter certainly, he's got the medallion up. That's a huge amount of help when trying to handle Roche. Magnus looks like he's going for Orchid. Can that be right? No, of course not. That's building into a Refresher Orb. I'm too sure about that pick myself. The Refresher Orb on Magnus obviously is very effective. It's got a beautiful stun that does an awful lot of damage. Being able to use it twice is great. It catches the entire enemy team quite easily. But looking at the team that they're fighting against, the Dire aren't going to be looking to group up unless it's in response to what Magnus is already doing. So I honestly think he'd be more useful with more tank, maybe magic immunity. Pretty much even necro books, honestly. And then pick up the refresher in a little bit. But having 2 refreshers now, I think if they can get a good refresher off, then that's amazing. They've won that team fight. If they don't get a good refresher off, and he had just like even Sanj and Yasha, they'll get the most average vanilla item you can. I think they'd still win the team fight even without the RP. But whatever. Oblivion Staff does give some decent stats all the same. Bit of mana as well, which can be a problem for Magnus. So not a bad choice. Certainly not a bad choice. And when they does start rocking up with 2 reverse polarities, that is going to be horrendous to disable for the TLDL squad. Who we are looking to defend mid. At the same time, big pushes coming out now from Too Easy down on the bot lane. And I'm beginning to wonder whether this game is. I'm trying to get an estimate on the end time of this game. Like when do we think this game is gonna call it quits and it's gonna become impossible for one team to win? Because I don't think we're there yet. No matter what I've been saying about TLDL's choices and playstyle so far, I do not think they are out of this quite yet. It's very close. The thing is, the OG squad still are not going as 5 at the moment, and they're being incredibly aggressive as a full stack. Now, I'm a big fan of saying that outnumbering people in teamfights is one of the most important things in Dota. Not the only thing, sure, but a very, very important thing. Here we go. Initiation in. The wards are dropped. I think with that, the Omega squad would be wise to just back out. It's a win, so long as the wards are down and nobody died. They can group up. Mirana's still getting free farm bot. Those wards will be down in... how much time is that? 28 seconds, and they can just charge back in with the next wave. At the same time, a lot of TPs there forced out from TLDL. They've all had to head over to the mid lane. Dante here looking to stop this Mirana push. He does have a TP. Gets the silence down. Going to be getting some serious damage and forcing the Mirana to TP back. Getting rotations in from mid though. Unfortunately that wasn't going to help. They weren't going to get there in time to contribute to the kill. And they're just going to have to run back to mid. What I was worried about was that the wards might expire slightly sooner and OG take the opportunity to push while there were only 2 people on the defense. But it looks like they've avoided that. Nathan now moving into position. It is going to be a 4-on-5 fight. It looks like Omega are not scared by the fact that they're outnumbered here. Very, very keen to go in there and get kills. I don't think they realize they're in complete vision. And this is what I'm talking about. They just need to nuke these people down a little bit faster. That's Magnus down. Unfortunately, Dazzle and Nyx also being taken out of the TLDL squad. They almost had that. They almost had that. If they'd a little bit more stun, maybe if they'd managed to secure a couple more key items before that fight had happened. But I think it was a good call to go in there. It was a good attempt. Good attempt, bro. Unfortunately, Shadow Shaman now also finished off, and I think GG has to be called fairly soon. I'm not even entirely sure why Omega aren't finishing this slightly quicker. Mirana team up with the team, push down towers, take racks, GG, well played. They're at the stage of the game as well where if they can start just consecutively pushing towers after they've gotten a couple of pickups, then the 3 remaining heroes are forced to come out and defend, and they die, so that when the 2 people you picked off originally come back, the rest of their team is dead, and you can kind of get this rolling thing where you're always going 5-on-2 or 5-on-3, and that's really where you want to be. I think with that fight they just had, I'm very surprised Omega haven't at least taken this tier 2. I really think they could be being a little bit more aggressive here. The wards are back up, of course. But I mean, we saw just now, like even the best full team initiation by TLDL on 5-on-4 wasn't enough to actually secure more than 1 kill. They lost 2 people in exchange. It's I think Omega could be being a little bit more aggressive here. I think they also know though that they definitely have the late game in this situation. TLD, Solar Food, scouting out the opposition. So they know. TLDL know that there's going to be a big push coming. Oh my gosh, that dust just missed the Nyx. Omega Gaming go in assuming that they're safe from Nyx, not knowing he's still behind them. Managed to get the kill anyway, and Nyx just forced out. An awful lot of stuff popped on trying to get Wraith King dead once, if you know what I mean. Magnus here looking for more pickoffs. I mean, there would be a potential for a Blink RP charge. Nice, Solar. Nice. Sorry, buddy. Squee getting his farm on, just staying away from the wards because why on earth would you go near them. Bounty Hunter getting all the tracks up, that's going to be an awful lot more gold. And of course also gives absolutely amazing vision behind the tower. So it does look like Omega are getting ready now. They're going to be pushing this in. They do not realise they've just been spotted out by Queen of Pain. But the problem is for TLDL is, what do they do? If they go in hard here, they're going to be in real trouble. Even if they just get stunned up. Unfortunately what they're doing, they seem to be kind of backing off and trying to do a fight around this area of the map. But unfortunately that's leaving the tier 2 tower effectively undefended. And we do have Mirana here. Nyx Assassin is here. He can stun anytime, but not going to be able to do much. Night Stalker going in very, very hard. Squee is being chased. Queen of Pain sadly misses with almost all of the damage on her ult. Solar Food almost finishing off Squee. Mirana ult has been popped as well. So Radiant really have the positioning advantage here. Solar Food desperately trying to get away. Vendetta on a 32-second cooldown. Caught out by a Lion Stun. There'll be a Hex to follow it up as well. Here come the carries. And that's goodbye bug. That's pretty much goodbye bug. Now I would really be surprised if they don't push the tower now.
Middle tower is under siege.
I completely appreciate the fact that the tier 2 is more exposed, but the tier 3 are the tier 3 and there's no way they can stop you hurting it. And GG is given out by TLDL. I think that was a very good game. I think we might see a little bit more in the second game. Now that the teams have kind of matched up against each other a little bit, they know what they need to be careful of. It's going to be interesting. You often see the team that's better at early game winning the first matchup. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second. You guys stay tuned, and I'm going to switch over to the menu screen. And yeah, this is a best of 3, so there'll be up to 2 more games, certainly another one. See you in a sec.